Yes, the former finalist at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy, Steve Beaton. When your nickname's the Bronzed Adonis, this is the tournament you want to qualify for. And the sunshine of Gibraltar. And the man who made the final of this event 2 years ago. He wasn't ever present on the European Tour until last year, when finally he dropped out of the seedings and failed to qualify for a couple of them. But he's qualified for this one. Failed to make the next one in Frankfurt in a week's time. Going to be a busy month for international darts. The next European Tour event in Frankfurt, got the Premier League in Rotterdam, and then the Dubai Darts Masters for the start of the World Series at the end of the month. I'm joined by Rob Malarkey, sat alongside me for Steve Beaton's opening match of the weekend as he takes on Michael Rasztovits, a man that you saw when you came to the World Championships as your one day as a darts fan over the course of the year.
Yes, I had my trip out to Ali Pali in December, saw Rob Szabo, the New Zealander, take on Rasztovits in a preliminary match. And he was beaten 2-0 that day, was the 32-year-old from Oberpullendorf.
Let's take Steve to throw first.
Shake of the hands from Rasztovits with Beaton, a man who's very much at home in Gibraltar, not just because of the sunshine and a chance to top up the tan, but because of his record here. Former European Tour champion,
100.
Steve Beaton, winning the German Masters 3 years ago. As Dan said, a finalist here in 2014. Was one of the top 16 seeds for the bulk of the European Tour events last year, but has since dropped out of the top 16 in the Pro Tour Order of Merit. So had to come through qualifying, beat Tony Richardson
60.
and Mark Frost to get here. And again, on his day, a player who is more than capable. So too is this man. He beat Jeffrey de Zvan in qualifying, Michael Rasztovits. De Zvan has had his moments in Europe as well in the last 12 months. And then he beat the wonderfully named Zoran Lurchbacher too.
Yes, in an all-Austrian clash. We've got Roby John Rodriguez and Mensur Suljovic here this weekend as well. So 3 Austrians here. A couple of Spaniards, 4 Gibraltarians, a German,
98.
plenty of Dutch.
Cosmopolitan lineup here in Gib.
1 Englishman through to the second round already from
100.
today's matches. Joe Mernon seeing off Ross Smith 6-2.
Yeah, the benchmark set there by Mernon at times. He started things off with a very stylish 1-2-2 checkout and finished the job with a very eye-catching 1-4-2 checkout as well. There were a couple of moments in between.
It's a chance for Rasztovits, though, here to break the Beaton throw in the very first leg. Beaton's not taking out the 1-4-1.
80.
And for the ball with that last dart.
104.
84 remaining. Needed the treble 20 for double 12. So Beaton does come back. He may look at the bullseye again. 25 for double 18. Yes, gets the 25. Decent mark, he would think. Doesn't
43.
use it.
Michael requires 16.
Now Rasztovits, 3 clear darts at double 8. And he
chance
only
in the
needs
first
the 1,
leg.
and it is a
Michael
breaker
Rasztovits.
throw.
Out of the
Second
blocks,
Michael
Michael
to
Rasztovits.
throw
Early
first.
warning sign there for Steve Beaton, who suffered a first-round defeat in Munich last time out. He lost 6-4 to Stephen Bunting. No disgrace, of course, Bunting being a former Premier League player and one of the stronger players to have come through qualifying. So it was a tough
140.
draw for Beaton in Munich. But Rasztovits was very much the outsider for this one, but he's made a very good start.
44.
And Beaton there, struggling to get going in leg 2 as well.
Yeah, Beaton's obviously the favourite for this one, but Rasztovits is no mug. I mean, he's been around for quite some time now, and even though
140.
he's just had that one appearance at the Worlds and the prelim rounds, and it didn't go his way. Quite recently, he's been playing. He's tried his hand at Q
57.
School for the last 2013, 2014, 2015. He's been playing the Bulls Super League over in Europe all that time as well. Made the finals 3 years running.
100.
This is his first European Tour event for a couple of years. He lost in round 1 to John Henderson in Austria back in 2014.
140.
But he made 3 European Tour events the year before that, so look, he's been in and around professional darts and mixing it with these guys for a while, so he's got some game. And look, that 12 darts thrown, he's left himself double top, looking to consolidate that early breaker throw. Beaton's got to fill this up to put pressure on it. He might do it.
Why not?
140.
Well, Tom 40 leaves in Shanghai, so there is some pressure.
40.
Not as much as there might have been. Double 10 for Rasztovits. Oh, it's a long way off. That's
Steve
not.
Short in the
That's
second
right where he
leg.
wants
Michael
it.
Rasztovits.
15
Then
darter,
Steve
2-0
to throw
Rasztovits.
first.
Yep, nicely done again. A man who, as Dan said, he's had bit of experience on the European Tour. He'd qualified for 4 events in the past, but he's never won a match on the stage itself.
Oh, it's not a bad start today to try and put that right.
40.
You know what I'm going to ask, don't you? The tattoo on the right forearm.
What it says.
Yeah, I need some background on this.
82.
Well, I was trying to decipher it a moment ago. I'm going to say
140.
Rasto.
In some sort of unusual text
Yeah.
font.
In a strange font.
139.
Yeah, Michael Rasztovits going along the standard approved footballers nickname format for you just take your surname and end it in
44.
O.
Stevie require 140.
Well, there are some who just take the surname and add an S.
An S,
like
an S
Vards, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. You know, I'm sure
92.
Steve Beaton would be Beats in
Yeah.
or Steve-O. Steve-O or Beats, whichever one, has left himself 48 after 4 visits to the
58.
board, and this looks a much more assured leg than the bronzed Adonis. That's what we'll call him. That's his name. That's what he is.
16.
You know, I was saying that. But he will return to the board with Rasztovits 200 points behind.
$87. Stevie require 32.
And there it
Short
is,
in the
and
third
Steve
leg.
Beaton gets the
Steve
first
Beaton.
leg on the board.
Fourth leg Michael to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, still work to do, though, for Steve Beaton. It's fair to say we've not really seen the best of Beaton over the last few months or so. Failed to qualify for Mulheim and Innsbruck, but we're seeing the best of Michael Rasztovits here.
Yeah, first one of the tournament.
100.
He played
100.
4 Challenge Tour events in March, did Rasztovits. Won the odd game here and there. But you
28.
wonder how much success some players could have if they did commit themselves to doing it on a regular basis. Now, that's very difficult to do that. You know, people got lives and jobs and things like
77.
that. And it's always a gamble to say, look, I'm going to back my talent and say, I'm going to travel over to all the events, play everything I can, and see how I go. But
137.
you must look at his
I'll give
countryman
144.
Mensur Suljovic and think, well, we knew Mensur had talent because we'd seen it, but it's only really last year when he started playing
60.
every event that you actually saw him really capitalise upon it. He was playing more, he was playing against the best, and he started getting results. His form improved, and he's
100.
delivered on the talent, and now he's a multiple semi-finalist in many tournaments.
Yeah.
Rasztovits, oh well, he's gone next door now. Down for double 3. Well, that's the way to do it. Why not?
Versatile, isn't he?
Finish.
Yeah, nice versatile stuff there from Rasztovits. Went downstairs on the initial attempt on double 12 and then just covered his tracks with double 3. Not an easy switch to make, but no problem there for the Austrian, who has his 2-leg cushion once again.
Number 5 seed Kim Huybrechts, the Belgian, awaits the winner of this one as
140.
Beaton misses out on his first maximum of the match.
Yeah, and on stage next, we've got one of our Gibraltarian qualifiers, the first one, Anthony
37.
Lopez against Nick Fulwell.
The local copper, Anthony Lopez.
Hot
58.
Hot fuzz.
Plethora of options as far as the walk-on music is concerned. Anything by the Police for a start off.
50.
Well, just 50 from Rasztovits, but this isn't a leg that he needs to win. He'll be quite happy with 3 holes of throw.
81.
That'll see him over the line. Beaton has to hold, but also really attack the Rasztovits throw.
100. Stevie require
Yeah, will Beaton
125.
go ball 25 ball here? Well, there's 25, so treble 20 for tops. There's the treble 20. And there's the tops, and that is a classy finish from a classy dart player.
Yeah.
Steve Michael to throw first.
Looked
Game
almost effortless, that from Beaton.
He is beautiful to watch
when he's in his rhythm.
Oh, it's wonderful.
There is no finer
45.
sight. Still has work to do here, though, Beaton. All well and good checking out 1-2-5, but he needs to back it up and he needs to find a break of throw, and case in point there. Starts off with an opening salvo of 25, and maybe Rasztovits can just put some further pressure on here, on his throw.
Oh, better response from Beaton. Comes downstairs for the 177. Now then, Beaton makes his move. Needs to find a break of throw. Only needs
60.
one, as long as he can hold his own throw from now till the end of the match. But he has effectively stolen the darts from his Austrian opponent. He's back in the treble bed, and again, Beaton. Oh, it's wonderful. 177, 171 to leave him 128. Marvellous stuff.
He slipped into gear there, but Rasztovits looking to respond in kind with a 180. It's another one on the board for Michael Rasztovits. This is a high-quality encounter now. Steve Beaton can't miss trebles at the moment. Look at this from Beaton. Double 10 he wants, and he's just wide of the mark. That would have been something special.
Well, it would have been 9 perfect darts in a row, and he might still lose this leg. Look at this from Rasztovits. Tops for 4-2. What a massive moment that could prove to be. Rasztovits misses tops for 116. Beaton is looking at double 10. Still wants double 10. Still wants double 10. And gets it at the last time of asking. Steve Beaton levels the match at 3 apiece. Gets the break of throw he wants. And that is a phenomenal leg of darts. 8 perfect darts from Steve Beaton after a shocking opening visit.
Well, had he lost that leg, you wonder what it would have done for the mindset of Steve Beaton, because that would have been, I suspect, really difficult to recover from. Like you say, perfect darts, the 177, the 171, nearly checking out with 128 after 2 treble 18s as well. And that would have been very, very hard to take had Rasztovits snatched it away from him there. But we are level once again here at 3 apiece. I say once again, level for the first time in the match at 3 apiece.
You see 93 average. I mean, it's okay. It's okay, but that's been dragged up by that last leg.
And then he has 6 darts to hit 141.
55.
It is always difficult going on afternoon session in these events.
Especially when you're a player who thrives on a bit of reaction from the crowd as well. There's obviously very little in the way of that at this stage of the weekend.
Yeah, I think the crowd are going to have to go absolutely berserk for that to generate
any
the
sort
kind of reaction the likes of Andy Hamilton thrives upon.
Yeah.
They'd be sectioned.
121.
That's good darts from Beaton. Again, Rasztovits is right there, just tapping him on the shoulder, and if he can just stay straight here and does so.
98.
98 gets him down to a finish. Treble 19's coming to his aid again. Steve Beaton leaves himself a nice little 2-dart finish, but Rasztovits surely not. Well, it's not to be, but
98.
well, he's left himself a 2-darter as well, so the pressure on Beaton. 18 for tops for a 4-3 lead. Tops he wants.
Ooh, and he's let Rasztovits back in here.
You require 60.
Rasztovits with another gilt-edged chance to break back here. Tops he wants now. Oh, well, that's totally kiboshed it. Absolutely kiboshed it.
You require 20.
Well, it's sometimes difficult when you leave 20 for tops, because that first dart, you want to use it as a guide sometimes. You don't want to get it in the way. In the end, he's tried to move across and hit the 5. It's cost him a dart at a double, but Beaton is going to offer him another opportunity.
He's having trouble with his doubles today, Steve Beaton. Some of his darts has been exemplary, but by and large, he's just really struggling to finish things off. But so too is Rasztovits. Could it be another let-off? No, it's not. Double 4 is taken out. And Rasztovits gets his nose back in front once again and leads 4-3. Topsy-turvy encounter, really difficult one to call here. But it's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, that, for Steve Beaton. Having worked so hard to claw his way back, he's gifted Rasztovits a leg there, you feel.
Well, he looked like he was, you know, motoring along in 5th gear in that 6th leg when he produced 8 perfect darts and eventually got over the line, despite the fact that Rasztovits was there pushing him. And then again, he'd given himself the opportunity to take the lead for the first time in the match. 5 missed darts at doubles. And Beaton is staring down the barrel, and here's Michael Rasztovits about to win his first ever game on the European Tour.
58.
4 times he has played on the PDC European Tour since its inception in its current form in 2012, as Rasztovits just misses out another maximum. Would have been his third. Yeah, 4 times he's made it, 4 times he's been beaten in the first round.
Uncharted territory if he gets through. And maybe as the finishing line gets closer and closer, perhaps there'll be extra tension. Well, I'm sure there will be extra tension behind every throw he makes, but Rasztovits not showing any tension here with another 180. Just another illustration of how good a player he can be. It's his third 180 of the match.
100.
And it's left him double 14 for a 5-3 lead here. Mensur Suljovic takes those out for fun, and so too does Rasztovits, his fellow Austrian. 5-3 he leads.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a 13 darter on your own throw. And Steve Beaton has got it all to do. Now, he has to win the next 3 legs, but he does have the throw in 2 of them. But Rasztovits is piling into the treble 20 at the minute, and it's another one. That's his 4th maximum.
Brilliant. Really, really good play from Rasztovits. If he can just keep it together here.
140.
Just fend off any pressure that Steve Beaton puts his way.
59.
Well, Rod Harrington's not here this weekend, so I'll say he's cut that in half.
He's cut that in half.
Yeah, no Rod this weekend, sadly.
58.
Can Rasztovits get back on track here?
98.
98 for Rasztovits. Leaves himself 164 for the match. Beaton needs to find at least 1 treble. And he hasn't, so he's left himself a massive one. The 144 might have to go.
Did that find the treble 3 or the treble 19?
I think that's the treble 3 that he said there. Otherwise he'd be staying down there on the treble 19s. Yeah.
88.
So 88, that's okay. He should get at least 1 dart at a double when he returns for the match, because Beaton is not taking out the 144. He's going to leave himself pretty handily placed, but he may not get a go at that 44. Rasztovits, 76. Tops for the match to knock out Beaton.
56. You require 44.
Pulled it a little bit.
Yeah, he was a good inch below the wire there, and Beaton has a chance here. It's a let-off double 16. He wants to claw it back to 5-4. Can't afford to let this one go, and he doesn't. Double 16 taken out with the very last dart in hand, and on we go at 5-4. But Rasztovits has the advantage of throwing first in the 10th leg. Needs to make the most of it, needs to get off to a flyer.
100.
Well, that'll do.
Well, a massive leg this. Rasztovits with the throw. He knows
60.
He should win it. He should win this leg and with it the match. However, if he's broken, it all switches and Beaton becomes the heavy favourite.
100.
A couple of tons, he'd be relatively happy with that. The way this game has gone, if you said to him 15 darter, he'd have snapped your hand off, I would imagine.
60.
Well, he doesn't find the 100 there.
Beaton's a long way back, though. Got to fill it up. Got to fill it up.
140.
Well, one more of those, and that would have made things interesting. As it is, Rasztovits still a favourite here to take this leg.
100.
He's left himself the 141. Nearly saw that in our opening match of the day.
100.
Double 12 was missed, or Michael Van Gogh missed double 12 for 141 last night for the 9 darter. Rasztovits is not going to take out the 141 here. 1 treble will leave him very well placed. Well, I like that. Judicious use of the bullseye leaves himself 76, which is what he nearly took out in the last leg to win the match. 146 is not going, so Rasztovits gets a second attempt. Now, last time he went single 20, single 16, and missed double top by quite some way.
Same route. Will it be the same path to glory? And once again, this time he's above the wire.
50.
I believe that was an overcompensation. Beaton. Double 16.
18.
2 darts to take this to a decider where Beaton would have had the throw. He's missed those opportunities. He's missed so many before in this match, Steve Beaton. The doubles have not worked for him, and Rasztovits makes him pay.
And the match,
Michael Rasztovits wins his first ever game on the European Tour. The Austrian is through to round 2. He will face the number 5 seed Kim Heidrechts, and Steve Beaton, the former finalist here at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy, is dumped out in round 1.